So why can't I sign both A and B at the same day on the same place?
Well, that's a great question. You obviously you can sign both petitions on the same day. The question is, what is the effect of signing both petitions on the same day? And that question, or that answer, is unclear. Is that the Democratic Party in Texas finds itself in the unique position, the enviable position of having multiple candidates running for the same position for statewide judicial office. That is remarkable. We haven't had that in a very, very long time. But what is the effect of that? Each of the candidates has to obtain a certain number of signatures from each of the 14 courts of appeals districts. And that's where this whole process gets involved. So the party has tried to create a process that will take the packet of all of the candidates and send it out to the SEC, the leadership of the Democratic Party, as well as the county party chairs, as a single packet, and say, just sign all of them, and we'll decide which signatures apply to one versus the other. Unfortunately, the election code actually determines which signature is valid, and the election code is not something that it supersedes what the party decides. So what that means is the election code is the law, and what the party does is internal to the party. I didn't mean to get into so much detail. What's happened is when you sign both petitions, both competing petitions, including a candidate and that candidate's opponent, on the same day, the question of which signature is then valid is up in the air. So after doing a little bit of research in the Texas Election Code, having consulted with the Texas Secretary of State's legal division, the question is up in the air and hasn't been resolved. Why put ourselves in that position is the question. Why put ourselves in the position where the signatures could be interpreted by the Texas Supreme Court, which, as we all know, is all Republican. And so if they can exclude any of our candidates, that would certainly be a benefit to them. I don't think they would do that, but notwithstanding, why put ourselves in that kind of position? So the simple solution is to just obtain the signatures in a proper method. Just, we've got an election coming up on Tuesday. There'll be a lot of voters out. They'll have their VUID and their voter cards with them. Send out volunteers to collect these signatures at that time. And if we can get, just a certain number of signatures from each of these different courts of appeals districts, we'll be just fine. So to help facilitate that, I have actually created a packet that includes both an A group and their opponents, which is the B group. And fortunately, there's an even number of candidates right now that are being circulated by Glenn Maxey of the Texas Democratic Party. So I've taken all of those signatures and split them so that people can sign either the A group or the B group. But then that signature is going to be valid, and there's not going to be a question. There's no challenge to those signatures. So if we can get volunteers to help us, that's the way we want to move forward. I'm making this available freely. It's available on my website, cherryforjustice.com, and I'm sending it out. I'm going to go live on Facebook. We're going to try to get people, particularly in Texarkana, Eastland, Beaumont, these districts that are difficult to get to, and hopefully get some volunteers to go out and collect these signatures on Tuesday.
So we need a signature for either for A or B in any given race.
That's correct. So I'm going to hopefully get volunteers that will go out and get signatures for both the A group and the B group, but just signing one group or the other, but not both.